Welcome back to the Joyride. As you can tell, this time is going to be a little bit different because we have two surfboards, not just one. So this is the Xero Gravity model from JS, and we have one in PU and one in their EPS construction, also known as Hi-Fi. And the goal here is to figure out what is the difference between two boards that are shaped exactly the same with a different construction. The Xero Gravity is JS's board that's sort of just below a really tuned up high performance board. It's a little bit wider through the nose, so it's a little bit more forgiving. And when you think about the differences between a PU and an EPS board, the main ones that come to mind are there's usually a bit of a weight difference. PU tends to be a little bit heavier than EPS. EPS tends to be a little stiffer than PU, but in that same regard, EPS has more bounce back to it, so you might be able to get a little bit more spring. And obviously, just looking at these two boards, the colors are vastly different after they've barely been surfed at all. We're gonna take them out to the pool at Waco Surf to try to basically get the same wave over and over and over again to really be able to parse the differences between these two. And in order to ensure that this is a fair and equal test, both boards are gonna have the AM fin right here. It's pretty much my standard high performance fin. So I'm gonna throw this in both the boards to make sure that it's an even playing field, and we know that it's really just the construction that's making the difference between the two of them. We just had our surfs on the PU and the EPS, surfed a ton of different waves out here, from the running point wave to the little barrel to even the air section. I feel like I got to try them both out enough to really feel the difference between them, and it's actually so wild how different these two boards are. I started off with the PU, and it was feeling a little bit sticky, especially on the turn waves. It had some good moments, but in between it just felt like I wasn't quite getting that connection and flow that you want out here. And also the turns, some of them felt a little bit flat. So then I came and I hopped on the EPS board, and that was just like, wow, this is what you want to feel when you're in a wave pool, especially, is just this flex and this fling that it has, just spark, really, I guess is what it comes down to. Airs, I felt like they both had pretty good pop. Like, I felt like I was getting good release out of the lip. The main difference to me was just the landings, and I think that on the EPS, because it's a stiffer construction, it sort of has this bounce back effect where sometimes I would do an air and I would land pretty over my board and I would just kind of like bounce off or tip over or whatever. Whereas the PU, it seemed way more forgiving. It sort of absorbed the landing a bit better. So to my surprise, the PU performed better for me in the air out here. At the end of the day, we're in a wave pool. The conditions are perfect and not ocean-like at all. So we're gonna take both of these boards now down to somewhere with some real waves and try them out and see if we feel something new, something different, or if that's just how these boards are. So let's go find out. Second session is done, same board, same conditions, different construction, and two very different feelings out there. I took the EPS board out first, and it went okay. I had a few moments where I was like, okay, that turn felt all right, and that wave, I felt like I connected it, but I never really felt like I was flowing with the board. I felt most of the time a little bit sticky, a little bit off balance, and yeah, it just didn't quite feel right out there. So then I came and grabbed the PU board, and instant connection. Like, I just felt like I was sort of one with the surfboard a bit more. It felt like I was just really planted on it. I could go where I wanted to on the wave, and I didn't lose any speed. It was kind of like a role reversal from the pool. I don't think that's necessarily always what's going to be the case between EPS and PU, but generally speaking, I feel like PU, when you get a little bit of that ocean push behind you, it really just settles into the wave nicely, and that's what I felt out here today. So the verdict, I feel like the main difference between PU and EPS is that PU has a softer feel and EPS has a harder feel. PU, you're gonna be more down in the water, you're gonna be feeling like you're sinking into your board a bit more. EPS, you're gonna be more on top of the water, maybe a little bit more lively, which has a lot of benefits, as we saw in the pool. But overall, and especially in the ocean, I tend to lean toward PU. I think it feels a little bit more natural, you feel more connected, and you feel like you have more control. So they both have their place, but if we're going surfing in the ocean, I'm going PU.